dear participants, by the time we start the presentation of Miss Bindu Manchanda, or sorry, Vandana Manchanda, uh, they are going to show us the video of an intact, what that organization is all about, what the work they are doing. And the moment it finishes off, we'll start with her talk. Yes, madam, we are able to see the presentation.
Okay, wonderful.
Yes.
This is India, a country with a rich heritage of traditions, monuments, and sacred sites. Sadly, through the years, more historic monuments have been destroyed, more artifacts too, and more oral traditions have been lost forever.
Our small group of concerned citizens, INTAC has now developed into a large national movement. There is now a very strong network of people who are interested, dedicated to the preservation of the respect. The dimensions of INTAC are every day expanding. It works at the level of the village heritage, which is very significant. It's the most obvious and tangible form and expression of heritage. My focus was on two things. Firstly, to professionalize, to bring about systems. There was no finance person earlier. Appointed a pensioner, a controller. It's been a remarkable journey. And it has made quite a difference, a significant difference to the better of the country. Our lending is 33% education, 33% awareness programs, and 33% projects to show people how it can be done, what is possible.
The Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage, or INTAC, was founded in 1984 to protect the thousands of monuments not listed under the Archaeological Survey of India. Today, INTAC is the premier autonomous non-governmental organization dedicated to conserve and preserve India's natural, cultural, living, tangible, and intangible heritage.
We are working more recently with some of the ghats in Varanasi, Balaji Ghat, Ganga Mahal, public places have not been looked after for many years, for many reasons. And these are the buildings that we are now trying to conserve and protect for the future. I would say the biggest achievement, and it was to suggest amendments to the ASI Act, or entrusted with the task of laying down regulations for monuments.
INTAC plays a vital role in listing, documentation, and conservation of heritage buildings and precincts all over the country. At Amritsar, INTAC is restoring and reusing a hospital as a craft center. In Kashmir, one of the important buildings destroyed by fire has been restored and saved as a result of INTAC's efforts.
I look at INTAC, they're doing organically spreading all over the country, reaching out to all cities, towns, and villages.
INTAC has pioneered many heritage initiatives in Mumbai, like the Gateway of India, Victoria Terminus, and the Afghan Church.
The Balaji Library is an extraordinary project. We were looking for a place to set up an INTAC conservation lab, and I found in the most incredibly deplorable condition with the INTAC Material Heritage Division and the experts in INTAC, we were able to do an amazing restoration job. It is where all forms of cultural expression can come and find a platform, so that there's something in the museum for everyone to come to. The Arts and Material Heritage Division of INTAC was started in 1985.
we focus on region-wise demand for conservation. For example, in South India, we have wooden objects, we have traditional evening paintings like Tanjore, Mysore, and things like that. At North Center, we're looking at paper conservation and manuscript. Similarly, in Delhi, we are looking at oil paintings or sculptures or metals, wood paintings, you name it, and we do it.
The Heritage Division of Intact has conserved and restored paintings of masters like Raja Ravi Verma, Amrita Shire, and contemporary painters like Souza and M.F. Hussain. This has been a challenge because of the different types of media used. Calcutta, once the capital of British India, has a large number of colonial buildings. Intact is involved in restoring the Writers' Building and the St. Paul's Cathedral. Intact was approached by the National Museum, Denmark, to restore the Danish heritage of Singapore. There are still remnants of Danish architecture, like the North and South Gates, and the Governor's House. Intact is involved in restoring the magnificent South Gate.
Remarkable work that Intact has done. Yes, some of us have sat in North Block and South Block or in Churchill Bhavan, but we haven't done all this. The work has been done by craftsmen, and therefore Intact keeps on insisting that we make these people as our icons.
Intact Heritage Academy runs programs for training and capacity building in all aspects of heritage conservation and management.
We have been doing a lot of work in the field, and now we realize that this work needs to be backed up with scientific research, with training opportunities.
Intact works with traditional building materials and with traditional craftsmen and masons on their conservation project sites in a scientific, informed, and structured manner.
Urban biodiversity is an area which we are addressing at the moment by developing a model for enhancing habitats in the urban area.
The Natural Heritage Division advocates the sustainable use of natural resources, undertakes projects on eco-restoration, and conservation and creation of environmental assets. Till now, conservation was seen as a very tangible, building-oriented entity. Intact transformed that and broadened the outlook from buildings to natural heritage, to material heritage, and to intangible heritage.
With that in mind, we started holistic cultural mapping of communities. We're doing a number of projects across the country with the Santals in Jharkhand, the Bhils in Gujarat, the Kinnoras in Himachal, and so on.
This knowledge, the traditional knowledge, has to be not just preserved in databases of CSIR and so on, but we have to see that there is a continuation and a conservation which goes to the future.
To invite cultural values, heritage education and communication service in Intact was set up. And we start paid process with schools and colleges because this is very important to catch children when they are young, because that's the age when you cement your values. So we are running a network of around 2,500 heritage clubs across the country.
The Heritage Education and Communication Service Division is dedicated to spreading awareness among young people about India's natural wealth, and cultural heritage.
We worked with many craft people all over India. So it's Jaisalmer, Chanderi, Gwalior, Rajpur. What we try and do is we hold design workshops so that we give them design input. We try and cut the middleman out so that the project reaches directly and they benefit mostly from it.
Even UNESCO is now talking about traditional creative industries that could be used to revive the economy. So conservation could also be an economic generator, like in Chennai or even Pondicherry.
So as we go around in the town, we see the French part of the town, which has a lot of beautiful buildings restored. One of the first projects was restored an old private residence into a hotel, but it is in fact today become one of the landmarks of the country, Uttar Pradesh. They restored an old French building into a heritage hotel.
It is satisfying when you see a place springing back to life, where even a small effort has made difference to the town and to the community. India's mission to conserve heritage is based on the belief that living in harmony with heritage enhances the quality of life.
I think it's over.
Shall we start with the presentation now? Mute.
Yes, madam. We can start. So, good afternoon, everybody. It's 2:36. So we'll start with the today's third session, that is on creative economy, the way forward, by Miss Vandana Manchanda. She had already taken one lecture yesterday on significance of traditional architecture crafts of India. And this particular creative economy, the way forward, will be, I think, on the direction toward talking about the entrepreneurial aspect with respect to heritage. Yes, madam, please.
Yeah. Just 1 second. We are just going to. Yeah. Okay. Yesterday we had spoken about crafts and a definition of craft, and this is also something that you already have seen. But craftsmanship, I will talk about craftsmanship was a creation by ordinary people which aimed to meet their direct needs. The making of any object or element required full dedication and involvement of mind, body to produce a functional object. This is a definition given by Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay, who's the Tsarina of Indian crafts and helped all over India. We also want to show you that how craft actually, it's not just limited to the craft itself or to the craftsperson or to the buyer. You know, generally it's this chain that is only, but this is actually, it permeates all through society. And this is a diagram. I don't know whether it's absolutely clear to you, where how it is based, affects culture, knowledge, skill, need, market, material, art, and then it goes into your own understanding, your even your spiritual connection with your God, with the universe, and how it's self-generating and self-evolving. So the process never stops. It's a cycle. It's cyclical, and it goes on and on. And now, of course, we come specifically to creative economy, which is relating to or involving the use of the imagination or original ideas to create something. And economy, of course, is making and trading things of value. So, and there's a little diagram on the side, which this is it. So this is the process of creative economy, and how it, on all the aspects, cultural, scientific, economic, and technological, it is linked. Creative economy is linked. So whether it's a simple thing like making of a pot or a ghada, which we all see, or a kulla, all these things actually come into it. Every object that is created links to all these things.
Madam, is it possible to change some display settings so that the slide is bit bigger?
Okay, yeah.
Ma'am, ma'am, click on that display setting, ma'am, on the top of your screen.
Yeah. Yes. I'm going to try.
Yes, this is okay now. Now you can go for slideshow. Yes, you can go for slideshow now. You can go for slideshow.
Oh no.
Ma'am, ma'am, listen to me. Ma'am, click on this display setting.
Display setting.
On the top.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, now click on duplicate slideshow.
Okay, from presenter to slideshow. Did you do that? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now you can't see me, right?
No.
Your slide is visible now.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. So I don't need to repeat this. And now this is a multi-head creative economy model. So the creative links, benefits, elements, and how it is mutually beneficial. What are the technological links, economical links, traditional links, heritage links, and how the proposal is to create a balanced ecosystem where everyone is benefiting from each other, using the economy to generate revenue for heritage conservation, directing the visitors to come to the shop. So if you take a model, how will you make crafts or traditional building crafts or any product, how will you bring it into the creative economy model? Is this large enough, big enough for everybody to see?
Yes, madam, it is okay.
So how do you make a creative network for conservation and development? Of course, you see, our focus is on conservation, so we'll talk a lot about that. But for a general person, how will you bring in that creative network? So you have to create a framework, you have to do the documentation. When you do the documentation, you also document the needs, the already available products, and the end person it has to go to. Then you will analyze and interpret the data. You will create a plan of action. You will be setting up of checkpoints and key factors, is it improving public amenities? Are there developmental projects? Is it conserving heritage, increasing happiness quotient of the people, enhancing the historical and cultural significance of the area that you're working in? How does it enhance it in an eco-friendly manner? I mean, is there any effect of it, or is it just going from the factory to the person? I have already given this definition many times. Okay, in recent years, Indian crafts have transitioned from highly traditional to varied contemporary forms. We can see that all around us, all of us, I'm sure. And traditional aspects of crafts were not only densely embedded in religious, social, and culture, but also in day-to-day life. I'm sure you understand all of that. So then this process of contemporization of crafts started, and it became, so I don't know if you have seen on the net, what I'm trying to tell you about is things like sites like Crafts Villa, or I don't know if any of you have gone to these sites that are selling crafts. But it is such a sad thing that if you actually research, most of these so-called Indian crafts are being made in China in huge quantities, and they are being mass produced, and the craftsperson has no benefit except that maybe his model was used to make these products. And therefore one must really, if you're going to work for creative economy, and these are the challenges that one is facing these days in this area. Yeah, of course, demand, but then demand, if you bring it to the lowest possible level and you are machine producing, you'll be surprised to learn, I don't know how many of you know that the classic Banarasi sari, all that brocade is now coming from China. The thread is coming from China. So the Banaras weavers are in such dire states that you will not even believe that they don't even have 10 rupees to eat a meal anymore, because the market is flooded by the so-called Banarasi stuff, but it is all coming from China. And naturally, our craftspeople who are working by hand can't compete with those kind of prices and mass production things that are happening. I'm going to show you, if we have time, 3 or 4 case studies where Intac has intervened, and these are very successful case studies. And anybody who goes to any of these, they are available. They're there for you to see. This is not something that we have done on paper. This is directly linked to creative economies all over India. Raghurajpur, as you know, or you may or may not know, is a village in Orissa. It's on the way to Puri and Konark, and it's it's on the tourism route, but nobody ever stopped here in this village. However, it has a multitude of crafts. They have the Pattachitra paintings, they have stonework, they have palm leaf manuscripts, they have a very beautiful dance form as well. But this was just, again, nobody thought of this becoming any kind of destination, and people just used to bypass this on the road. Nobody stopped here. Anyway, so we took this up and we wanted to do a wholesome development of this village. And these are the, Pattachitra paintings. I think we've all seen them. Beautiful paintings by hand, palm leaf manuscripts, paper mache products, wooden religious figures, paintings on coconut kernel, stone sculpture. Okay, now this is part of what we started doing, and this is the Gotipua dance tradition which I talked. This dance is done by boys, actually. They're all boys under the age of 14. And some people say that this is the genesis of the Odissi dance. So we started many programs, and our program I like to say that it became such a success that now there are 2 Raghurajpurs, one on the left side and one on the right side, because of course then the community, when they saw all this coming in, they had their own politics, and now it's divided. So now we have 2 Raghurajpurs, but everybody, whether it's this side or that side, everybody is benefiting. So this was our revival program. We revived the traditional crafts. We provided training for artists and masons. We encouraged artists to relearn traditional forms and not make them just mass produced, but actually give the buyer the original authentic product. Now mural paintings, the houses were also painted. Traditionally only men painted them. We did a lot of research. Our organization believes that research and documentation is very important, and one should not just venture into any project till you know everything about it. We also started producing lime there on our own because we wanted to do restoration, but we make our own lime, and we train these villagers. We trained them how to, because they had lost this art. Everybody was converting everything back into cement. And we went back. We said, you're not going to use artificial colors, synthetic colors. We started. They had that knowledge. They had that knowledge, maybe with some old person with something. But we had to bring it back to the fore. So first we got the elders, people who are traditionally painting, line plastic balls. First we got them to do it. Then we started training the young people to do it. And then we started getting the girls into it, which was traditionally never allowed. However, now the girls are also trained and they do it, and now hotels also ask for them, and exhibitions, during fairs. These people are going everywhere. And this, you can see the beauty, intricacy, and you can see the subtleness of the colors. It's not garish. This has all been done with our programming. Of course, the media has to come in, and we wanted them to come in. We asked the media to come and start interviewing people and talk about its revival, this village's revival. And we used the people who were there. We didn't bring people from outside. Whatever was lacking, we provided. But we kept on asking the older people to join us. This was, of course, as you will all know, this was actually the objective. Creative economy, generate additional employment, tourism, strengthen their infrastructure. We also wanted their own living conditions to improve. So we did that. We did the widening of the roads. We paved the village. We provided drinking water. We provided toilets in each. Of course, we had to generate funds for it. So UNICEF, other people who came forward. Just to give you how we worked. Again, roads were made, roads were widened, but only local people went. We did not bring labor from outside. We also trained them on bread and breakfast. We trained girls how to make beds properly, how to serve food, cleanliness. Everything was how to run the restaurant. How to give performances, what is the hygiene that is expected, what are the norms for greeting people. This pond was there, we just took some. And of course the craft center. This is all finished now, these are earlier photographs. Result is, as I told you, the end result has been that now there are 2 Raghurajpurs. So you can understand how beneficial it was for the community and for tourism. Yeah, many craftsmen who had stopped practicing their traditional professions have returned to them. Okay, so now I will quickly, I also, if you can hear me, maybe Professor Vinayak, you can answer. We have some films on our work also. If we have time, we would like to show them.
Sure,
So this
madam.
is the Chanderi. Yeah. This is Chanderi, another quite successful creative economy project of my division. We had spoken briefly about this. I have already shown you these yesterday because both, it's interlinked. We opened this weaving center in one of the mahals that we've restored, Raja Ka Mahal. Yeah, we'll show you a film on Chanderi now. Just give us 1 second.
Chennai is a vibrant town in a picturesque setting, dotted with historical monuments that testify to its eventful Hindu history and traditions. With its strategic location, the town dominated the trade routes of central India and became a strategic military outpost prized by ambitious rulers throughout the centuries.
If madam, a volume can be reduced a bit so that because too much of echo is there, I think.
Along the crest of a hill. 15th century record describes Chennai as a flourishing town with several palaces, stone-built houses, mosques, steppers, and big bazaars. Chennai offers a window into a place that is deeply connected to its social, cultural, and natural environment. And the building is the primary occupation of the town's residents. 3,500 families, around 60% of the town's population, make their living from the use.
एक दिल्ली में एक बड़ा फेमस संत का मजा है ऐतिहासिक निजामुद्दीन उनके जमाने में एक संत वहां से चल रही आ रही और उनके साथ में कुछ बंगाल के पैदल उनको फॉलो करने के लिए यहाँ पर ढाका जो ब्रह्मपुत्र नदी उसके किनारे में शहर आबाद हुआ करता था जिसका नाम था लखनऊ वो शहर उस नाम से क्यों नहीं रहा तो 1304 में ऑफसाइड में बसिंग आए कुछ लोग आकर के संत के फॉलो हो गए और कुछ लोग उसमें से उन्होंने कहा कि जब संत जहाँ पर है तो हम क्यों जाएंगे शुरू करके और हम यहाँ पर आकर फिर गालियाँ तो निशा कर लिया तो जिस काम में वहां पर इन्वॉल्व थे वो वही काम हमें यहाँ पर शुरू कर दिया तो उनको उस तरह का एक मुश्किल मिला यहाँ पर
Preparing the walk of the youth is a complex process involving several tedious operations. The yarn comes in long hanks or bundles which need to be opened and the yarn transferred on small thread reels or bobbins with the help of a mechanized spinning wheel. The bobbins are arranged across a wooden frame called wheel. The yarns from these reeds pass through a reed to be wound around a vertical ground. A walker in good times would walk 4 or 5 for 12 signs each. The Chandeli artisans use the older technology of preparing for walking. The number of threads in a walk can vary from 4,000 to 17,000 depending upon the quality of fabric desired. The hands of yarn are first dyed by hand in the desired colors. This is a skillful process as the threads are very delicate. The dye solution is prepared in large vats, and the entire dye process is carried out in the kitchen. The measure of dyes to be used is an expertise acquired with experience and talent. The yarn is stretched and further rolled onto the flower walkway, which is held on two loop-like iron hooks clutched in the branch. This process requires 6 to 8 people from among the village family members. Each thread had to be properly secured and rolled on the wheel. In order to keep the threads from getting entangled with each other, they are made to pass through a frame of two bamboo sticks. These two sticks are tied to each other with a thread, leaving a slit in between, and thus act as a frame, with the help of which the threads are spread across the width of the loom. Thus, instead of using less space in the planer machine, where the stretching and rolling of planer is done simultaneously, in this system, the threads are manually stretched first and are rolled later. The warp reel is fixed on the loom, and the new warp threads are then joined to old warp threads with a deft twist of the hand. It takes almost a whole day to join the threads. This done, the warp is now ready. The thread for the warp is on shuttles, which are filled by laying bands of thread on spinning wheels and rolling thread onto the small bobbins by hand spinning the wheel. The spinning wheel is generally carried out in the courtyard of the weaver's home. Then transferred to the punch press, which translate designs to jacquard while weaving. A miniature jacquard mechanism, normally referred to as the dolly, is installed on top of the loom. It provides the design of the border of the sun. The handlooms in Chandevi are predominantly pitch looms. These woolen looms have been used in this region traditionally. They are installed inside the box, which is about 2 feet deep. The leader sits on the wall of his pit with his legs inside the box. In Chandeli, weaving is a family enterprise involving the entire family in the production process across age and gender. There is thus a very intricate relationship between household activities and weaving, which dictates the organization and allocation of space in the weaver's home. UNICEF has undertaken an initiative to repair and conserve two viewers' homes as models to demonstrate the advantages of continued usage of vernacular building materials and to safeguard the vernacular architecture of its settlements. UNICEF is in the process of preparing the dossier for UNESCO World Heritage serial nomination of vernacular built heritage of iconic Sari Mini clusters of India. Built in the 17th century, the Raja and Rani Mahal complex is located at the core of the town and is one of the important landmarks of Chennai. INSAP has restored this historic structure as a pilot project for encouraging the active reuse of heritage buildings in the town. The complex is now being used by self-led groups of buildings. The facility is used for training and design interventions for financial and social development of the community. The historic and built environment of the rural community is a cultural landscape closely linked to the environment and traditions. This medieval fabric is a remarkable character of Chandeli that has retained the authenticity of the rural traditions and its continuity. The story of Chandeli is a fable of the exquisite fabric interwoven with its history, and
Um, shall I start?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Any questions or anything at this stage?
One question, that is, won't it mitigate the contemporary crafts by bringing craftsmen of various regions together at regular intervals to interact and know each other's craft and learn integration of various crafts at their own.
Oh, all these, the craft melas and all that happen. So all
Yes.
these craft people are there, and I think they do interact with each other and learn from each other. There's dastkari, then the handloom associations have melas, government bodies have melas. I think they get enough opportunity. However, personally, I feel that it would be more beneficial if they these specific groups are given design interventions, and technology is they're enabled, technology enabled. Like during the pandemic, I'll show you some things that I was able to do to help. They were in a very, very, as you can understand, very uh, yeah. Yeah, so they were in a very, very bad state because nobody was buying their products. So I'll show you how we tried to help at that time, and the steps that we take. Anything else?
Yes.
Ma'am, may I ask this question in person? I'm Bharat Kumar Mittal.
Yes, you're audible.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Ma'am, my question is basically because of the reason, this traditional art is being diverted towards contemporary. And it is basically the intervention of designers only, by which this traditional art is being converted into contemporary, for which these craftsmen are not getting any benefit. So my point is that not only
Sorry, I've lost you. Maybe later at the end. Maybe I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
My point of view is that, like, we are losing our traditional art into contemporary one. Okay, and the problem is that our craftsmen are not getting advantage of that, and it is because of intervention of designers only.
Yeah. So I was not talking about.
My point is that it's not only bringing them to some melas. If we can conduct workshops to integrate their crafts at their own rather than intervening by designers or something like that, so that will develop contemporary one.
Yeah.
As well as this will give benefit directly to them without losing any sight of the craft. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. I understand that, and I'm going to later show you what we do. And when I said designers, I didn't mean in a commercial way. I meant to bring in, which we do. Later on in my presentation, you'll see how we are approaching this problem. Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you.
It's part of my presentation. The answer to your question is in my presentation.
Thank you so much.
And we can always discuss it more if needed. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to show you another very recent. This is a place called Kagzipura. I'm quite convinced that none of you would have heard of this. This place is next to Aurangabad, near the Ajanta Ellora caves, on the way to that very beautiful site. And here they have a 700-year-old tradition of making paper. That's how the name comes, Kagzipura. And they came during Aurangzeb's time. And then for many, many years, in fact, hundreds of years, they kept making this paper, which is from waste, cloth waste mostly. And they used to get orders, even the government, filed folders and all that, but slowly that's completely stopped. And this beautiful tradition of making organic paper was lost. And we heard about it through one of our chapters, actually, the Aurangabad chapter, and we started working with them. And your question may be answered partly by this presentation. I've already talked about this. So we, a big major part of our work is training workshops. We've done many, maybe all over India, and over 10 or 15 years, maybe more than 100 training workshops. And we've had a direct benefit on creative economy for all these craftspeople. And when I was talking about bringing designers, I didn't mean these designers who will just use these people and sell at high-end stores. That's not what I meant. What we meant was that these people, if the need for the paper as such has disappeared, we will try, and we are trying to recreate that need by education, but also then from that paper, some products should be made that the market desires, needs, or wants. And the copyright of everything that we design, help them design, belongs to the community. It doesn't belong to the designer or to Intac. They can sell their products after we have trained them, after we have paid for the designer. We paid to train them, so we give them daily wages so that they don't lose out on their livelihood. Most of them, a lot of them have, as you know, gone to labor, farm work, other things, cleaning, jobs, sweepers. We bring them back and we pay them daily wages. We pay for the designer, we pay for everything. And then the design, the technique, the technology is theirs to use. This is the way we approach it. So we had a training workshop and we trained. We also did a competition, and we thought we need to do a branding. So we held a competition, and this is the design that was chosen for the Kagzipura paper, and now everything that is being made there has this. So we made a logo, and now we are now in the process of developing Kagzipura like we have developed Raghurajpur. Now this is a 3-year commitment to begin with, and you can understand the amount of resources we need to be able to do that. We have been fortunate that we have managed to find a funder who has undertaken the process for 3 years, and unfortunately due to the pandemic we haven't been able to work this year, but we hope to start early next year. In the meanwhile, we are doing the survey of the number of people, youth, old people, who knows what to do, who's engaged where, because they have no work. And they may, as you can see, this paper that's hanging, this is very beautiful paper that they do make. And we have a very active Aurangabad chapter and Maharashtra state convener who they're all helping. And we have done 2 workshops already actually, and now we will start the actual work. And we did bring their paper and some products to our own Intac small, we had a 3-day fair. And they were sold out in, I think, half an hour. This paper went because it's so beautiful, the quality of the paper. But fine, they still have, some of them have the skill, but where is the market? I mean, they can keep making paper, but if nobody is going to buy it, then it's a loss, right? I mean, who's going to do it? So that's what. Okay, we have a film on Kagzipura. We can show it later if you like. It's a very beautiful film again. But I also want to tell you that a lot of our films have got awards. Anyway, now I'll talk now about, so that was another initiative on creative economy done by Intac. And now again, the third one that we are showing you is Nizamabad black pottery. I don't know whether you know about this black pottery. It looks very much like Bidri work of Hyderabad, only it's not done on metal, it's done on clay. And this is in Azamgarh district. It's got this black finish. And then the initiatives we did, of course, as I said, we did design workshops to begin with. And We also train them on how to market. We send them if we can. We are not a commercial organization, so our resources are limited for all these marketing and all that kind of things. But we still try on a personal basis, as an organization, whatever help we can give to the now thousands of craftspeople that we have worked with. We do try and do that to increase the visibility and impact. Yeah, it is one of our ancillary jobs, I would say. It's not really a mandate, actually. So when I said about design, see, this is the kind of contemporary design that we've started doing with their traditional black pottery, which nobody was buying. In 7-8 years back, nobody was buying this pottery. I won't show you the film now. And now I will talk about the major initiatives that we do. So, like I said, we do design and skill upgradation workshops. We have a sacred waste management program, and the pandemic and the way forward, market exhibitions and things. If you can all read this, then I don't have to. So very recently, this is what we did. Hisar, as you know, very little craft comes out of Hisar somehow. And I was talking to our people, our chapter people, and they said, "Nahi, yahan kuch nahi hota, kuch nahi hota." So I said, "Kuch to hota hi hoga, acha. They must be ये तो बुनते तो होंगे कुछ क्रोशे." तो the lady said, "हाँ क्रोशे करते हैं, वो पहले करते थे." So I said, "Fine, let's take that skill only then. Let's try and do something with that skill." So we started working with these women. And here comes your design input. We got a designer. She helped them create these things instead of just making edgings of tablecloths and some cardigans or whatever they did, or caps and booties. We started making these toys. There's such a and then this Beti we took it under this Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao kind of government program. This is another marble carving. Marble carving statues, और वो तो होता ही रहता है, but how much do people buy now these statues and things? These are design interventions by us. With the same skill, just tweaking it, just upgrading it, just showing them how to use the same tools to create different things. Again, a lot of you will know about this inlay, Hoshiarpur. They used to do it in ivory, or that's no longer, so they use. We took this community, most of them have become farmers. It's not necessary that we don't want them to become farmers or laborers, if that is their aim, but I certainly think that there is more dignity involved in this, being these master craftspeople. You can see this, these people which we collected from the villages, actually, and just kept asking, कौन बनाता था, किनका दादा बनाता था, पिताजी बनाते थे, आपको कुछ आता है, आप सीखना चाहते हैं? So these people came. These are the older people. So skill has stayed the same, design has changed. People are the same, tools are the same, materials are the same. See, these are the new products. There are platters, trays, salad bowls, cheese platters, coasters. We also try and give market linkages. Being a non-commercial organization, we really can't, and we don't make any money. This is all just dedication to the craft. As I was telling you, we have numerous. I can't show you everything. This is a list of some of the workshops, design workshops that we have done. And I'm very happy to say to you that till now, I have not conducted any workshop that has been a failure, where people have come back to me to say, आपने ये सिखाया था और इसका हमारे को कोई फायदा नहीं हुआ. I'm blessed. We are blessed that everything that we have taken up, in a small or big way, has helped. Okay, now this is something I'm very proud of, proud of as an impact person, because everywhere we used to see these flowers, or at the temples, everywhere, just mounds of, and after weddings, just stinking away in these heaps, getting mixed with plastic, getting just thrown into the rivers, wherever. And you know, the people say they degenerate, but it's not so simple, because they don't regenerate on their own. They're then mixed with plastic and all other kinds of rubbish, and then they're thrown, and then what happens? It's just a waste and stink. So here is a journey of a flower for you. We know about this. You all have seen this. Here we go to the temples or to weddings, and this is where it ends, as we know. So we thought, okay, let's do another thing. Let's think of it differently. Let's make something of this waste. And so, why should we do it? Cleaner water bodies, employment opportunities to women, cleaner temple surroundings, sustainable utilization of resources. These are the reasons. This is the creative economy. This is what when we say creative economy, it's not just on paper. It should have a meaning. You should be able to see a product at the end of it. Just a talk is not good enough. So this became we started in a small way, and now it's a pan-India. Again, pandemic stopped us, but it doesn't matter. We will carry on. We did this in Mayer in Madhya Pradesh, where we had another chapter, and we said, please start collecting. They have a very big Devi temple there. So collect the flowers. And you know, we took these women. उनका स्किल क्या था? बीड़ी रोल करना. MP में बहुत बीड़ी बनता है. It's the major center in all over India. Madhya Pradesh is the major center for बीड़ी making. So we got these women who make beedis traditionally, and we trained them. And this is such a success that this incense now is going all over the world. MP government is getting it. Temples are getting it. They can't any more fulfill the demand. From the 25 women that were trained, 250 women are now working. And they really, bless us, because they say that they never liked the fact that they were making beedis, because they all understood that it's not something good to do for the people who then smoke the beedis. It's not something, but what to do? Economics made them do that. That's the only, that's the only thing they could do. So now they're not making beedis anymore. They're making these. And also now 3, 4, 5 of them have become so trained that they have become trainers. Wherever we get a demand, we send them, so they are earning, like they have become trainers. They're no longer daily wage workers. And this is whatever. Okay, we also do exhibitions. We've done on the Delhi Metro. We do international exhibitions, all towards promoting and preserving, all towards creative economy. Okay, this is the film on Kagzipura. And now let's talk about the pandemic and the way forward for creative economies. what is it that we can do that these people don't sink further and further into poverty? And like you were saying, somebody was saying that skills should be, yeah, it is okay. It is okay to say that they should, carry on their traditional skills. But to what end? What is the end? What is the benefit to them? Their children also need to eat, go to school, have a decent life. We have to think anyway. We started it's called Creative Dignity with very huge other groups of people, like-minded people. We started helping, trying to, the first help that we gave was ration. Everywhere that we had, we sent rations to these, actually they were starving. So we gave our own money, we got money from friends, from some small, all during the pandemic in complete lockdown. We were able to reach at least 2,500. I think it was about 10,000. I don't have the figure with me. I can give that. Where we gave ration packets, just voluntary ration packets. But that is not enough. Yeah, they need to earn. That is the main aim. We also started then doing this craft cataloging with artisan rates. We said, okay, everything is on the net now. So let's see what they have. We started cataloging wherever our people could reach. All volunteers, I have to tell you, all volunteers, all young people, old people, just going into their homes, cataloging, trying to put rates, and then we started putting it on the net and helping. And then we started also linking them to other cooperatives. Then we started, after that, what to do with all this stock, unsold stock. So we started appealing, sending personal notes and calls to exporters that we have this stock, this community has this stock, this artisan, this weaver has even 25 meters, 100 meters, 2000 meters. Please take it, please take it. Then we got designers involved and we said, okay, now let's start making products. What to do? We started making. Then while we were talking, I had I had this feeling that everything is joyless now. We are always appealing, भूखे हैं, वो ये है. Let us try and create something that will bring some joy. So we made this Karuna dolls, they're called. So we asked these people to make these dolls from the fabric that they have and the skills that they have. And we started this initiative along with Creative Dignity called Karuna dolls. And this has become very popular, and we got started. They have got already many uh, orders for these dolls, and we just recently did a small Christmas edition of mini Karuna dolls that have also sold out. Okay. And then, so the government also is doing its bit. So as you know, the coolers are back, thankfully, instead of that plastic. And I think, what is the thinking among some people? This is a very good initiative. Why did they? You may remember that coolers actually used to be around during Lalu Prasadji's time, and then they were discontinued. And the reason for that was that the volume when they're thrown is too much, and therefore to clear the tracks or something. Now, what about that? It's like millions of tons of plastic glasses are used, and they're just thrown. At least cooler, if a train goes over it, it'll break. But anyway, that was the thinking. What to do? So now this is a recent initiative that the government has taken for creative economy. That actually, as you say, Dr. Vinayak.
Yes, madam.
Yeah, so I can keep showing more similar things, but if you like a discussion, or I would like to show some films on Kagzipura and others?
Yeah, we still have, madam, 25 minutes to go.
Yeah. So shall we show the films, or would you like people to ask questions and we can answer those? How would you like to go about it?
There is one or two question is there that how's black pottery of Azamgarh is different from that of Nalagarh.
Let me show you that film. I think that will be very interesting for your viewers, and they will understand the craft, how it is different. It's all explained there. Let's go back to that.
Okay, okay, and by the time it starts, some more points are there that crochet craft started losing a couple of decades ago only.
No, crochet craft not only started, couple of crochet craft has been there. Women know how to crochet since centuries.
What I think the point is that the kind of a demand we are talking about, whether the kind of popularity demand.
I mean, what these ladies are making now, they are sold out. We can't cope with the demand because they're making blankets, they're making toys, they're making dolls, they're making all kinds of new products. We can't cope. They can't cope anymore.
And meanwhile, one more is that it can be converted into manure as well as energy. That is the waste from the temples. But what I see is that it is only about the cost that we can get from the. Even there is another company which is fool.co.in, which has been started to reuse those particular waste flowers. So it's all.
We are not exclusive. I'm not saying that whatever we have done in waste, this thing, we are exclusive or anything. But all I'm saying is we are not commercial.
No. What I'm saying is that instead of manure and energy, that turns out to be much more economically better if we go for such kind of refined products. I'm saying.
No, I don't agree that manure is more economical.
It has more chemicals.
Flowers have more chemicals, and these days it's not just flowers. When you start to dry them, they have too much chemical in them already, and therefore if you make manure with them, it's not natural.
Okay. No, I'm talking in terms of cost, madam. That if we have flowers and if I convert it into agarbattis, dhoop, so the amount of money that I'm going to get is more from the dhoop and agarbatti or from making it as a manure. Converting it into manure, I'll get more money, or should I convert it into the dhoop and agarbatti?
I think that is like comparing apples and oranges. The product is so different. You can't compare, like manure with agarbatti. Agarbatti has its own value and manure has its own value. But we would not convert. We looked at manure, but then we realized that the flowers have so much chemical that manure is also then not organic. That's why we took this way. I mean, there are many organizations who are making manure, and I haven't done a cost analysis on this. Okay, mine is more. So 100 grams of flower waste, you make 100 sticks of that, and manure, I guess 10 kgs goes for 100 rupees. So I think our product is more value add. But of course, then it needs a skill, it needs people, it needs other things, it needs a stick and all. But I guess there's market for both. Yes, but anybody who
Ma'am, one more question related to these agarbatti incense sticks. Lot of things are coming up on the use of sticks into this agarbatti. Those are not environmental friendly. Burning of wood.
Yeah. We have done that. So let me just tell you that we are not using those. We are not using those sticks that are this thing. We are using our own wood, local wood, and making the sticks from that. We're not using those Chinese, which the Chinese have been supplying these joss sticks to everybody is making agarbattis of those sticks that come from China, and they are very, very bad. And our sticks we are not using those. We have
No, ma'am,
developed our own.
any kind of wood, burning of a wood inside a stick is
Yes,
an environmental problem. It
you
cannot
are
be
right.
called sustainable.
Yeah, maybe, but then you have to stop temples from burning and the
Right,
whole.
right.
It's all a
It's a
cultural
better
and
option.
religious.
I'm not disputing that. It's a better option, but still.
No. I totally agree with you, but given the I mean, I'm not going into all that because then cigarette smoking is bad. I mean, frankly, that's a question that we have not really. Ours has been something that, and burning one or two or three sticks. Can you just imagine? I mean, that way we should really not be even driving cars or motorcycles or anything, because every time we do that, or we should not be traveling on planes. I mean, really, if you go down to that level, then we really should not be using cars, we should not be using planes, there's thousands of things that we as individuals and human beings really should not be doing. I'm sure we all agree with your point. I agree, but in the larger scheme of things, I would say it's not such a big. So for me,
For such a good work, such a good initiatives all around the country where you are taking, it is really wonderful and heartening to note. And I'm really delighted to hear all these things. And I think by this way we will be able to keep our traditions alive forever. Thank you.
I hope so. Thank you very much. I'm just going to show you the film now.
Ma'am, excuse me, I just have a question. Can I put up my question?
Of course.
Yeah. This is Priyanka Kumari. Yeah, ma'am, I just wanted to know that to what extent product diversification is right from cultural point of view of the existing craft. Like for the crochet, the toys which were made. So to what extent do you think that it is appropriate? Like they get very dirty because textile is such a material. So to what extent the function will suffice the nature of the material?
So the thing is that the skill remains the same. Crochet, the skill has not changed, right? Only the product has changed. And crochet is only done on text. Crochet is not done with anything else. The very basic material for the skill is wool or cotton thread. So that's it. I mean, what else? Crochet. If you're using crochet skill, then sorry, but
It's white toys.
White toys.
Toys are more prone to get dirty, so I only toys as a product diversification.
Yeah, well, organic toys are a big asset, no? So many of the people would rather give their baby a toy that is soft and organic and not harmful than rather than a plastic toy that can be actually washed very well. But do you know the environmental this thing of a plastic toy that comes from China? And the PM, actually we were very excited because then now the PM has launched this program as part of Atmanirbhar to make indigenous toys.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Now we'll show you the film. It's a 10-minute film. And then any more questions, you can take those.
Softly meandering through lush grassy grounds, runs through history and folklore, casting a spell as it goes. Many a soul has been vitalized, finding peace in the rhythm of its singing waters. Lord Ram and his consort Sita, the sage Valmiki, and Guru Nanak Dev, among others, have legends associated with him. A few hundred years ago, a group of potters came here from Gujarat and settled in Nizamabad by the banks of the river Tamsa. Nizamabad is a small town situated about 100 kilometers north of Varanasi in the district of Azamgarh. On entering Nizamabad, the pottery is hard to miss. Blocks of clay, potter's wheels, and stacks of clay vases are everywhere. The small community of Kumbhars, the traditional potters, combine utility with the magic of decoration. Unique in its lustrous black color, incised with floral bands. The process of making pottery of this amazing beauty is both long and arduous. Deft fingers work skillfully to transform the humble clay into an object of luxurious beauty. The mitti clay is taken from nearby ponds and beaten to a fine powder, adding water as required. The estimated quantity of prepared clay is placed on the wheel and turned beautifully by the potter, achieving the desired shape with finesse. The Nizamabad pottery is characterized by strong curvilinear contours. Though simple and ancient, the shapes bring out myriad nuances and differences in each of its various forms, whether decorative or utilitarian.
और मैं ये काम जो है सारा अच्छे से शुरू किया हूँ अपने माता पिता से सीख कर पिता ने पौधे जो है उस समय जो है मेरे पौधे का नाम था और आपके नाम यूज रहा है और हम लोग के लिए जो है बाहर नहीं जा पाता है इसलिए आप जिले के अंदर ही हम लोग जो बना रहे हैं अपना दुकान लगाते यहाँ पर जैसे मुझे तरीका जो है जाके दुकान लगा के देखते हैं तो ये सामान बिकता है.
The turning is carried out next day when the clay has set, using a selection of locally made metal tools and burnishing the surfaces with an agate pebble before the potter removes it from the wheel.
बाहर में चले गए जैसे अहमदाबाद हुआ गुजरात हुआ बंगलुरु हुआ जो वहाँ 500-600 के लिए मिल सकता है लेकिन अपना काम अपना होता है किसी का काम दूसरा होता है जैसे हम लोग कारीगर हैं आप लोग आ गए बहुत अच्छा काम है आप स्वयं बनाते हैं लगाते हैं सब कुछ देते हैं आपको समझ में आ रहा है कि इस काम में इतना मेहनत है उस हिसाब से लोग पैसा में
The dried pots are dipped in gummies, a liquid clay set prepared by grinding mango tree bark, bamboo leaves, and other things, all of which carbonize during the fire. The silk is applied by dipping and pouring. The turned and polished product is then dried in the shade. After drying, mustard oil is applied and the surface is polished with a soft cloth in order to maintain an unblemished, shiny surface. The polishing of the terracotta wares before firing is what gives the end product a sheen finish. The designs are etched on the polished spots, freehand, using a pointed needle, sometimes using traditional geometric designs, and sometimes floral.
इस काम को जब ये छोटे बड़े लोग सभी लोग मिल करते हैं सभी का अपना अपना ये इसमें योगदान होता है जैसे आदमी प्राकृतिक काम करते हैं और फिर सफाई लगी रहती है बच्चे भी यहाँ करते हैं मिट्टी लाना भी होता है सभी का बच्चे तमाम तरह के बड़े लोग एक आदमी काम करते हैं लोग आदमी काम दो आदमी काम ये तुम्हारे लिए जिसमें जो छोटे बड़े सभी लोगों का बराबर का योगदान ये बिजली के काम बन गया तो यहाँ पर बिजली में बहुत प्रयास नहीं आती है जब जैसे पानी आगे के बिजली करता है तो इसीलिए योजना के अनुसार यहाँ पर बिजली की व्यवस्था की जाती है ताकि समय से काम करने को काफी लोग होते हैं रात में काम करते हैं जिससे उनको स्वास्थ्य और जीवित आ रही है सब काम कराती है
Firing is done in a closed clay kiln by placing dung cakes between the layers and covering the heap with straw and ash. The lid is fitted onto the chimney, and a mixture of ash, dung, and water is smeared around the seam to seal it. This allows a smoky atmosphere to be created through decay, which gives the pottery its black hue. During the firing, some dried goat dung is thrown into the kiln to enhance the blackening. The kiln is opened the following day, and the highly polished black pots carefully unwrapped. Women play a major role in creating the pottery. The slip making, slip application, polishing, and inlay work is carried out solely by women. The women of Nizamabad exhibit their multi-hued talents in a variety of fields: basket making, hand embroidery, and of course, the culinary arts. A mixture of lead, zinc, and mercury is pressed into the engraved lines with the thumb to create the sparkling silver motifs. The lead and zinc are brought from the market and beaten into thin strips resembling tin foil. Equal portions are pounded into powder, mixed with a few drops of mercury on the palm of the hand. The silver grey etchings contrast with the black background, making the piece truly a work of art. With Intact's design intervention, new forms and patterns have been created. The beauty of this pottery lies in the love that the artisan puts into it. It is obvious that he enjoys the work enormously. Intact's special intervention has introduced terracotta tiles to the existing repertoire of the Nizamabad pottery. The tiles can be used for cladding a whole wall or used just as accent pieces. The use of terracotta tiles adds to the insulation properties of the wall, making the room both comfortable and aesthetic. The black pottery of Nizamabad is a wonderful amalgamation of concept, design, and execution.